Good morning, Internet, or afternoon, or evening, or middle of the night, or whatever time it may happen to be wherever you are. My name is SJ, and today I thought I'd tell you a little bit about me, because I've been doing a lot of general interest kind of stuff, and also because I don't really have anything else to talk about today, but I wanted to keep doing vlogs, just because it's a habit that I want to get into. I don't really know why, I just kind of want to. If you have absolutely no interest in me, then you don't have to watch this. But it's just something that I wanted to do, because of reasons. So, I am a senior at Georgia Tech, the Georgia Institute of Technology, which is a school in Atlanta, in Georgia, obviously. It's primarily an engineering school. Sorry. But I study Earth and Atmospheric Sciences, more focused on the Earth part because I like rocks, and I think the atmosphere is silly and changes too fast. I appreciate it, but it's silly and changes too fast, and there's too much going on there. And rocks are cool, and you can pick them up and hold them and hit them with hammers if you like. Which is really, really fun. I've gotten the chance to do that a couple times. For science, actually. It was part of a class. So I really like rocks. I also really, really like space. I'm sort of part of the fledgling planetary sciences division of the Earth and Atmospheric Sciences department at Georgia Tech. So I have done some research on the surface of Mars. Sorry, my voice is going. I don't know why. Yeah, I've done some research on the surface of Mars, and that was a treat. That is basically I just got to do exactly what I want to do with the rest of my life. For a couple of summers, and then I went and presented my research at a conference, which is really cool. To be able to do that as an undergraduate. And it didn't seem cool at the time until I got there and realized that there were 10 other undergraduates that were there. And that was really, really neat to get to do that. But anyway, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, graduating in May. I still don't really know what I'm going to be doing after that, because I only applied to 2 grad schools, which may not have been the best choice, but I only wanted to go to either one of those 2, and I decided that if I couldn't get into either of those 2, I'd just take a year off or something. Maybe only a semester off, because the idea of an entire year without being in school is actually kind of terrifying, because I haven't not been in school since I was in kindergarten. Actually before that, since preschool. So I really do hope I get into grad school. One of them already turned me down, unfortunately, which was silly because I met their minimum required test scores, and they were like, no, your test scores aren't good enough, even though they meet the minimum requirement. I was like, why is that the minimum requirement if that's not actually what's minimally required? But that's unimportant, even though it makes me really, really angry. So yeah, I'm primarily a student, I guess. Since you're on my YouTube channel, you probably know that I do a lot of music. I don't do that as much anymore because I don't really have the time, and because I do a lot of other things now, too, including, the Blue Sky Glow Cloud thing is a fan podcast of Welcome to Night Vale, which if you've never heard of Welcome to Night Vale, it's really good. It's kind of devouring my life, but that's okay. I don't mind. Anyway, that's not important. I like things. Things are cool. But yeah, I do a lot of music. I like reading things, both out loud and just for fun. Not that reading things aloud isn't fun. But I play piano. The piano showcased in my songs is actually me playing to a certain extent. My MIDI keyboard is tiny. I'm gonna grab it. This is the keyboard that I have. So all of the piano that you hear in any of my songs is done on this. And as you can tell, it's scarcely an octave and a half. Its name is Emily. I name all of my electronics, don't ask me why. So there's that. So I make I make the best things I can with the supplies that I have. Let's see, what else do I do? I have done a lot of things. I have tried a lot of things in the past, and many of them haven't worked out. I did drama for a really long time. I was in the drama club at my high school, and I was involved with plays all 4 years. I wasn't necessarily acting in them all 4 years. But I did a lot of set construction, which was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I like power tools. I did a lot of acting. I wasn't so much into tech, or technical things, like sound and lights, because I don't trust electronics. I'm not great with them. I prefer to have other people who know what they're doing already make the electronics work, and then I just use them. So, yeah, but I did a lot of acting. I did some set work. When I came to college, I continued doing that, but less, because drama takes up a lot of time, and I didn't have a lot of time in college. Because, when I got here as a freshman, I joined a co-ed fraternity. I am actually a brother at Psi Upsilon, which is a co-ed fraternity at Georgia Tech. Not all of our chapters are co-ed. We have a lot of chapters across mostly the East Coast. But some of them are, and that's really cool. Don't go to sleep, Benji. It's really neat being a member of that. And if when you picture fraternities, you picture, like, douchebags in backwards baseball caps and polo shirts and khaki shorts and boat shoes, that's not us. We're known around campus as the nerd fraternity, and when other people at Georgia Tech label you as nerds, you know you're really, really nerdy, because everybody at Tech is a nerd. Even the people who are classically fratty, I guess you would call them, like anti-nerds, they're still really nerdy. Because we all go to Georgia Tech and we all know what it's like. And we're all socially inept. And we like video games. All of us here at Tech. That's kind of a prerequisite, I think. They don't ask you about that in the application, but I think they can tell. Anyway, I'm really off track. But yeah, being in a co-ed fraternity is really cool. It's nice to be able to have really deep friendships with people, of the kind that I couldn't have anywhere else. In high school, I wasn't really close to any of my friends. Definitely not any time before that. Just because I get really nervous about what people will think about me. Because for a really long time, I didn't like me. So I thought if anybody else knew me as well as I knew me, they wouldn't like me either. That turned out not to be true, which is nice. But it's good to have a group of people who have agreed in front of each other to support you no matter what. And to be a part of that support network for other people is really, really nice, and I really like it. And, you know, apart from that, also, it's fun to hang out with them because we all share a lot of the same interests. We all like video games. We're all kind of socially inept, more so than everybody else at Tech. We like all kinds of nerdy shit, which is great. And just the fact that we've all been hanging around the same place for years and years just kind of builds, shared experiences, which is really nice. So that's really one of my favorite things that goes on in my life, is just being a part of that. And I don't hang around there as much as I really should, or rather, as much as I want to, because I spend a lot of time alone in my room. Like, most of every day is spent alone in my room. And it's not necessarily because I don't like being around other people. That's part of it. I would classify myself as an introvert if I had to classify myself as anything. But it's also because a lot of the things I do, I can't do with other people. Like all of the music that I do, the recording, it requires a quiet space. It requires me being able to think and concentrate, which is really hard to do with other people around. Same with writing. I didn't mention this, but I write a lot. If you watch the thing about fan fiction, I write a lot of that. I also write some original things, which of course don't get as much attention, because I don't post them for people to read, and also people have no reason to read them. That's the nice thing about fan fiction, is that strangers have a reason to read your work, which is not true with original works, because they have no prior investment in it. So really writing original things is a lot less rewarding for me than writing fan works. But I've already talked about that, so I won't talk about that more. But I write a lot. I write music, I write mostly prose, all different genres. The ones I have going right now are sci-fi, Lovecraftian horror. I'm writing a thing about a self-aware anime main character, who doesn't want to be a main character, but is kind of, well, you're stuck. What else am I writing? I think that's about it for original things that I'm actually putting effort into. But I have written fantasy, I have written sort of reality-based things. Once I wrote a vampire novel in middle school. It was like Twilight, only the main character was less helpless. And there were no werewolves, and there was only one vampire. No, there were two. Sorry, I lied. There were two. But they were not nice, and they did not sparkle. Because I read Dracula, and I know how vampires work. But anyway, yeah, I write a lot. And that's pretty fun. But again, is something that is best done when I'm by myself and can concentrate. What else do I do? I like to go walking. I don't do that as much as I used to, mostly just because I got lazy. But I really do like walking. One of my life goals is to one day walk from the East Coast of the United States to the West Coast, and just take 6 or 9 months or however long it takes, and just start walking in like Savannah and stop in San Francisco. And that would be really, really cool. That's something that I have wanted to do for about 1.5 years now. And unfortunately it would take a lot of money and a lot of time, neither of which I have. But maybe if I don't get into grad school, I can spend the first 3 months of the year getting together some money, and then the last 9 months of the year walking across the United States. That would be something I could do. And I would be okay with it. And then I could get back and try to get into grad school again. Because really, honestly, there's not a lot you can do with a bachelor's degree in geology. You kind of need to be a doctor. Which brings me around to the thing that I get really nervous about telling people about myself. Because it's really the only thing about me that I actually get a lot of crap about. And that's that I want to be an astronaut. I want to go to space, preferably Mars. That would be the best. I actually have, I'll show you, a road sign on my wall. It says Mars, 35 million miles that way. And I'm sorry if you couldn't read it, it was blurry. I had to pick my laptop up because I don't have a proper webcam, which is okay, I don't need one. But it's something that I've wanted to do since I was very, very young. I think I decided I wanted to go to space when I was in 4th or 5th grade. And I've never really changed my mind. I've had a lot of things come in that I thought, well, maybe I could do that, you know. For a while, I kind of wanted to be an actor. For a while, I kind of wanted to pursue singing as a career. For a while, I wanted to be a writer. For a while, most recently, I've kind of thought about pursuing a career doing audio stuff, just because I've been doing a lot of that and it's really fun. But I feel like the thing that I'm best at and that I'm most passionate about, still, even after all these years, is space and exploration, and specifically Mars. You can probably see back there, that's an ornament that one of my friends made me. It's Mars. And I have it hung up on my door because I love it. It's got a Carl Sagan quote on it, which is fantastic. I love that. You can't see it, but I have space blankets, which are my favorite blankets. But the reason that I get really nervous about telling people that is because the things that I hear back from people about that are so incredibly discouraging that I say, well, I want to be an astronaut. And when I was younger, people would be like, oh yeah, that's really cool, I'm sure you'll do it. You know, when I was in elementary school, people were like, yeah, I'll watch you land on Mars or wherever. And then when I got to middle school, people were like, well, you know, that's nice. And by the time I got to high school, people were just like, yeah, sure you are gonna be an astronaut. Yeah, that's great. And something that somebody said to my mom once really stuck out to me. She told them, well, I have a daughter who wants to be an astronaut. And the other person said, well, yeah, everybody wants to be an astronaut when they're a kid. They grow out of it. To which my mom, to her grand credit, replied, what do you think astronauts wanted to be when they were kids? And that really stuck with me. That has really helped me to not give up. Even when, you know, I got to college and they canceled the space shuttle program, and at one point I was out giving blood, and I was sitting around the snack table, you know, eating Nutter Butters like you do. And I was talking to this guy who's also a Georgia Tech student, and he asked me what I was trying to do with my EAS degree, and I said, well, I want to go to Mars. And he said, didn't they cancel the space program? And I very nearly just, like, picked up the table and flipped it over, because I was so mad. And I calmly explained that, no, it was just the shuttle program, they're working on other things. But I am pissed as hell at NASA and at the American government for truncating our space program so much. Because I think it's really important. I think it's important to know where we came from and where we're going and where we can go. And I think it's important to inspire people to dream big. And it's important to go out there and find what we don't know. And to instill in people that idea that we can do anything we want. Because if you look back at the 60s and 70s, there was this huge push of a mentality that America can do anything. Like, we're the greatest country in the world, and people believed that. People believed that we were the greatest country in the world because we landed a man on the moon. And that was incredible, and nobody else could do that. Still, nobody else has. And we forget about that. We forget that we're capable of great things. And I think, really, human spaceflight convinces people that we can do great things and we should strive for them. You know, in addition to providing lots of really cool scientific information, you know, about where our planet came from and how we came to be here, and whether or not there's other life out there, and whether or not there are other places where we could live if we had to. And we all seem to have forgotten that. We seem to be in a time where we're all really jaded about our country, about the human race in general, about what we're capable of as individuals and as a society. We seem to think that it's not worth it. It's not worth it to put ourselves out there, to try new things even though they might not work out. To push against the frontiers of what we know, and to find new things. New and mind-bogglingly amazing things. We don't seem to be able to dream anymore, and we don't seem to be able to be amazed. And that's what I want to give back to the world. I don't just want to go to Mars because I think it's cool. I don't just want to go to Mars because I want to find out the science. I don't just want to go to Mars because I'll be famous. I don't just want to go to Mars because no one has been there before. I want to go to Mars to convince people that it's possible. I want to give dreaming back to the people of planet Earth. I want people to see that spaceship land on a completely foreign planet. I want them to see somebody step off of that ship and say words as rememberable and as powerful as Neil Armstrong's. And it doesn't have to be me. I just want someone to do it. Because I want people to be able to dream again. I want people to try and to hope and to feel like we, as a human race, are capable of amazing things. Because we are. And there are so many amazing things going on right now, and nobody notices. I want to make people notice. I want to make people realize that we are the most amazing thing that has ever happened. And so when people say to me, you can't go to Mars because you have psychological problems, because you've been depressed, they're never going to accept you into the space program. What they're saying to me is, no one has the right to dream. And I can't stand that. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it for everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you around. This is SJ, signing off.